What is up, everybody? Jason Burmis here. And guys, I just can't. Whenever I hear about overpopulation and that there are too many people on the planet doing too many things and that's the cause of this or that, I really want to vomit. And I want to tell people to check their ignorance, because all you got to do is do something like I'm doing. And this is not the first time that I've driven through the country, but let's see if we can flip this around, right? Flipping it around. This is Iowa, okay? Take a good look. All right, and it hasn't changed much in the last 60 plus miles that I've been driving through it. Like Omaha, Nebraska's, around the corner, and there's some urban areas and whatever. But take a good look, guys. We're driving through Iowa. Look overpopulated to you at all? Bueller? So what is the driving force behind the myth of overpopulation? And by the way, 12 watching, no thumbs up yet. Let's get those thumbs up. Let me tell you, it's about control. It's always been about control. It's about nothing else. Periodically, we'll switch the camera so everybody can check this out. We're about, I'd say about 90 minutes, 2 hours away from Sioux Falls, maybe 60 minutes from Sioux City, Iowa. But when I say cities, they're cities, but they are surrounded by rural areas, rural America, places. You could build what you want in communities, whatever. Talk about 40 acres and a mule from back in the day. You want 40 acres and a mule? Come out to Iowa, because here it is, country upon country upon country, and even in some of the most populated areas on the planet, including New York. All right, New York State, 19 plus million people living in New York State, 10 plus million people living in a geographic area that is about 1/100th of the size of the actual state. How does that work if there's overpopulation? There's not. There never has been. It would be impossible to get there. We could literally on this globe, believe it or not, folks, no matter what they tell you, have easily 3 times the populace of 8 billion people. Yeah, that's right. 24 billion people, and we could live comfortably within our means. There are enough resources to cover water and food. And that's the big trick, isn't it? Go all the way back to the times of antiquity and Roman times, and even the oligarchy there. Okay, the oligarchy there was promoting overpopulation then. Webster Tarpley speaks about it in my film Shade the Motion Picture. And the truth of the matter is that the reason it's promoted so much is because they don't want more people, because it is harder to control them, whether it be physically, mentally, economically, or spiritually. And believe the hype. The predator class wants to do all those things to you and your family. Period. That is what they want to do. They want to rule over you with any type of pushback or resistance and let them decide what is best for you. Let's flip it around again, guys. And, again, we're in some gorgeous areas. I'm telling you, Iowa, not looking terrible. We're on the way to South Dakota, but take a look. We're talking about greenery everywhere. And folks, just so everybody understands and knows, there's areas just like this where I'm from. In fact, I would say this. Oh, sorry. See, as soon as I start talking about cell service and rural areas, we lose cell service for a minute. But it literally was 1 minute, guys. And look, if you've got 4G LTE in areas like this, are you really that overpopulated? No, of course not. Take a good look, guys. This is the road. This is America. And if the powers that be were really concerned about health care for all, we'd have it. But it's death care, okay? It's a service of oppression. And when we talk about guys like Bill Gates as philanthropists that are going to solve malaria, well, how do you solve malaria in second and third world nations? One of the most important things you can do is have proper running water and sewage systems. They're not doing that. They could be doing that. They don't want to build that infrastructure because that type of infrastructure actually builds empowerment for people and allows them to socially climb upwards, and that poses a threat to the predator class. That's all that is. It poses a threat to the predator class. They don't want people knowing how open and gorgeous and free many parts of this country are. No, 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 no. They want to encourage you to live in urban areas and be on Snapchat and be out in the club, right? And live in little tiny box apartments, right? Right, Cuomo? New York tough. New York strong. New York ignorant, man. And believe me, I got a lot of friends and family out in New York that live amongst, areas much like this one, and they get it. But they don't get how badly and beholden they will be to a system of authoritarianism if they don't get up and stand up against these executive orders and this reimagining of a state that I love, right? Because when you have unaccountable, unelected billionaires in charge of reimagining education, aka Bill and Melinda Gates, when you have Bloomberg, who's essentially, he looks like a gangster. He acts like a gangster. I mean, we should all be appalled he tried to buy his way into the presidency this year and failed miserably and wasn't given more flack. Instead, he was rewarded with the new Gestapo, the brown shirts, the contact tracing force. And then you got a guy like Eric Schmidt. Oh, we're all interconnected. And that's the thing, we are interconnected, right? Now, before technology, before the internet, we were interconnected anyway, okay? There is some kind of a human spirituality connection force that I'm not even going to try to describe because I'm just, an ignorant little human being that can barely describe the reality he lives through every day. But we are connected. We feel it every single day. And that's why when you step back and you're pushing on you start to realize, oh my goodness, there is a place for my friends, my family, my brother, my sister in this world and the future generations and their friends and their family, and we're not overpopulated. And what we're being fed is an anti-human agenda that wants us to merge with machines, not because we need to, not because artificial intelligence is coming, like Musk says, and if we don't, we'll be run over by it. Because they fear humanity. They fear emotional connections. They fear love, right? And I'm a true believer in love conquering all, guys. 71 watching, 31 thumbs up. Let's get the thumbs up. And it's my love of life, of those around me, of you guys out there, the Burmese Brigade, that is, bringing me on this journey and helping me to expose these myths. Again, let's flip it around. Let's hit the old flipski button. We're in rural town, USA. I mean, for the last 10 or so minutes that I've been doing this broadcast, can you imagine how many people could be living on these very green, underdeveloped areas? Not all of them are farms, guys. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of crops going on, but if you look at the field to the right of me, there's nothing at all growing there. We're about to come up on a state park. Just a vast, overwhelming amount of gorgeous land, which is a microcosm of the available land for human beings. Because if you think, again, we're overpopulated here, can you imagine what it looks like in third world nations, or in South America, or even Africa? Sorry about that, folks, but can you imagine how vastly empty the majority of those places are? And if Bill Gates were the philanthropist he claimed he was, he would be developing them, like I said. Instead, he wants to push his genetically modified mosquitoes in those nations to solve the malaria issue. Not going to solve the malaria issue. Total false. And then bring them to first world countries like this one. That's right, Florida and Houston, to further oppress us and push the myth of overpopulation. So all I can say out there is, if you really believe that overpopulation is an issue, it's time for you to hit the road. It doesn't just have to be Iowa. It can be just about every other state in this great country of ours. And if you actually hit the road and you drive through that state, you begin to see, wow, there are a lot of places for people to live. There is enough sunshine. There is enough rain. There are enough crops and food. That's the real deal. And we don't have to live on top of one another. Okay? You want to live in a city, great. I'm not stopping you. I like going to visit the city. I like going to Madison Square Garden and catching an MMA event. I like going to Yankee Stadium and having a $26 hot dog and a beer. I mean, that's actually probably cheap. I think the hot dogs are up to $12 or $14, and the beers are easily $15 a piece. So yeah, it's probably more than that. I mean, you want to spend $30 on a hot dog and a beer, you should be able to do that. But do you notice that this promise of a better life, when you go into these cities, it's never a better life. It's not. You may have all those things to do, but you're paying more, and in my opinion, your soul feels empty. It doesn't feel as full. There's just something about being out in nature that, I don't know, man, it fulfills me. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm glad those places exist. You know, we went to Cleveland, pretty decent sized city. 15 minutes out, we're walking with Taylor Hudak in a beautiful park. We went to St. Louis, pretty big city, 15, 20 miles out. I'm sitting down in a hometown bar, shout out to Harpo's, having a good time with the staff and customers who are just really great people, really friendly and inviting. And it's those type of human connection moments that we cannot lose. And we are losing minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, and month by month in this COVID-19 84 situation. I got to tell you, in Iowa, I stopped to get gas. I'm not sure if it's on Cuomo's list or not, but if it is, I don't care. No mask by the clerk, no mask by anybody so far. I've yet to see one mask in the state of Iowa at all. At all. I didn't even see a sign for masks or social distancing when I got gas. It made me feel good. That's what we're looking for. That's why we're driving out here. Because we're done. We're done with this transhumanist agenda that literally wants to take away your soul. So guys, thumbs the video up, subscribe, share, let everybody know. This is what the rest of the country looks like. This is it. Wide open, baby. Wide open. And if you like what I do, remember, we're fully demonetized on this platform. The GoFundMe link is down below. $5, $10, $15, big donors. Couldn't do it without you. It means the world to me. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you on the flip side.